If I'm using Webpack to build my application and my application has images, I need to use a specific loader to resolve those images. Images like PNGs, JPEGs, GIFs, and SVGs. And to do that, we'll need to use the file loader. The file loader takes the image, turns it into a module, and then extracts it to its own directory. I want to be able to use any icon from the Font Awesome library within my application. As an example, if we try to load the image within our application without the file loader installed, Webpack will come back with an error because of the extensions. So .jpeg, .svg, so on and so on. When we're using the Font Awesome library, we also have to be aware of a lot of the fonts that we need to solve for within the library. So we'll have some .eot, some .ttfs, and other fonts. So the file loader will be able to resolve those fonts also. So I just want to go in and let's get started. What you'll need to do is you need to make sure that you install the Font Awesome library, and then you'll also need to install the file loader. Alright, to get started, I just want to show my configuration file. I'm already using the Babel loader to resolve for my React application that I'm using. And then I also have my style loader, my CSS loader, and my Sass loader with a Dart Sass implementation within the options of the Sass loader. This application is just a simple application. I'm only creating it's just a card. It has the headline with a description, and what I want to do is I want to be able to add an icon to that card. So the first thing we'll need to do is we'll need to go and install our Font Awesome library and then our file loader library. You'll see here that I've already included it within our dependencies here, which is the file loader, and then I also have my Font Awesome library. So the first example I'll show you is how to resolve for any image that you're going to be using, but in this case we're using the Font Awesome library. I want to just install the file loader, and if I go to the Font Awesome library, I can actually go to the documentation, and if I scroll down, since I'm using Yarn as my package manager, I'll go here, and what I want to do is just copy this here, add it there, do a Yarn add. So I'm loading my file loader and my Font Awesome library to my application. Don't worry about these dependencies here. These are actually related to Bootstrap. I also have just Bootstrap as my library just to quickly style my card. So if I go in now to just start up my web server just so I can see what the card looks like, let's just go here and we'll just run our dev server. Alright, let's load it. Alright, so here's my card. All I want to do is I just want to add an icon on the side of my headline, or the left of my headline. So the next thing we want to do is we want to include our Font Awesome library to our application. So let me turn off the web server, because I don't really want to hot load it now because Font Awesome is such a large library. So if I import it, I can import it directly from the node modules folder. And instead of the SVGs, I want to use just the regular CSS styled icons. So you'll find those within the CSS folder, and it'll be all if we're going to use CSS, and so we can load that. If you've seen any of my past videos, I talk about how you need to resolve file types by declaring rules within the rules property of your Webpack config. So in the case of our application, what we need to do is we need to resolve for the fonts that are going to be used in the Font Awesome library, and also any type of file extension that's related to an image. So .jpegs, .svgs, .pngs, or .gifs. If we run our application, let me turn off my web server. If we run this application, we'll actually get quite a few errors coming back from Webpack, where it's complaining about a lot of our fonts that haven't been resolved, including the SVG image type that hasn't been resolved. So once this error comes up, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. When we're not running a test within our rules property, we tend to get this error here where it's pointing to or trying to resolve for this font, and then it's telling us you may need an appropriate loader to handle this file type. And for this file type, we'll be using a file loader. Same thing with the TTFs, the WOFFs, WOFF2s, and then if you go further down, we have the SVGs where those haven't been resolved. So what we want to do within our rules property is we want to create a rule for our fonts and our images. So what we want to do is we're going to write a regular expression, and we'll say EOT TTFs WOFF WOFF2 SVG. We also want to put in JPEG, JPEG, PNG, and then GIF. All right. And then we want to tell Webpack to use the file loader with this test. Oh, we need to make sure that we add our comma to this object. All right. Now, if we run our dev server again, in our dev server, when we run it, it compiles also. And just the reason why this compile is taking a long time is because Font Awesome is such a large library, because it has the font types plus SVGs, and then several preprocessor style sheets and that sort of thing within the library. So now we see that it resolved for these file types. But as an example, let's go ahead and add an image to here, and we're going to try to resolve it so we can actually show how it's being resolved. In my source folder, I'm going to create an images folder. And let's add this Webpack image. That seems kind of, let's add this one to it. All right, so this is the image that we're actually going to load. Okay, so now what we want to do is import our image, and let's call it Webpack logo, and we'll say from our .source images Download JPEG. And this turns the file path into a module. And let's go ahead and add it. So if we go here and we reference it like this, when we go back to our application, we should see the image, and there it is. So with File Loader, it allowed us to be able to pass in our image module into our component, and there it is. Now with Font Awesome, all we'll need to do is be sure that we can use a font that's a part of the free library. So if I copy this and I paste it in, and because I'm within a React component, I need to rename the class attribute to class name, and there we go. So I can do, let's see, I just want to increase the size 2x. Okay. Let's add it next to our title. And let's resize it down. It's fine. And then we could say it's lit. It's lit. Okay, so this is how you resolve for any fonts or any images. Okay, and there you have it. We were able to resolve for any of our fonts that were being used in the Font Awesome library, and also any images that we plan on using with our application. So if we're going to use anything that we import, it'll also be turned into a module and then exported within a directory. We can actually go into our disk folder and also see how everything was exported as its own module within the disk folder. So that's it for now. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you in the next one.